Alrighty, people. So it has now been a day since it was announced that Kevin Stefanski will be the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And I know I already made a video on this, and I had some people commenting and talking to me elsewhere, not just on the video, but just in general about the hire. And, people, I'm an emotional person. I overreact. I get mad. If you haven't seen any of my rant videos, go back, watch those, and you'll understand. I overreact. Sorry, I just do. That's me. I don't. Here's what it is. Kevin Stefanski is a guy who he's not well known. He's not the sexy hire that a lot of people would look at as that is the number one option. You know what I'm saying? And I had somebody message me on Twitter. His name is Max Yakel, I think. But anyway, so this guy got my Twitter and sent me a message basically saying, "You've had time to sleep on it now." Okay, he said, "So how are you feeling about the hire on after sleeping on it and digesting it yesterday?" So when I made this video yesterday, and this is going to be a part two from yesterday's video, I was, like I said, emotional, upset, frustrated, annoyed, and all the above. But I gotta tell you, and I know I sound hypocritical saying this, more and more and more that I take a step back and think about it, I think there is a legitimate way that this can work. Okay? I have a lot of questions on his leadership. Does he know how to control a team? Can he lead guys? Can he do what Freddie Kitchens couldn't? As far as when it comes to practicing, camps, workouts, scheduling these kind of things. Freddie Kitchens had no clue. Todd Monken made that clear. Freddie Kitchens had no clue what he was doing. Everything was out of line. The game plan was out of line. Can Kevin Stefanski do all that? I believe his offense will work, okay? After looking at it and just kind of soaking it all in, I think his offense is going to work. And here's why. I think that the Cleveland Browns personnel on offense is very similar to the Minnesota Vikings. You're replacing Dalvin Cook with Nick Chubb. I think a lot of people look at those guys as top 5 running backs. I think you should. And they're not the same kind of person, but they're both comparable as far as skill. So you're replacing Dalvin Cook with Nick Chubb. You can tell me who you think's better. I mean, I really don't care there. It is what it is. On your opinion on that, me personally, for Cleveland, Nick Chubb is better. For Minnesota, Dalvin Cook is better. I think Nick Chubb is a Cleveland guy. Come to work, put your head down, get the job done. I'd rather have Nick Chubb in Cleveland than Dalvin Cook. That's just me. Like I said, I don't have any, I can't sit here and say, these are the stats. This is why Nick Chubb is better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, comparable-wise, running back to running back, they're similar as far as their skills and their talent. Receivers, Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs are now, for Kevin Stefanski, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I was watching a couple of Vikings fans podcast, and they were talking about this. They were saying, well, Diggs and Thielen are better. This season, yes. But I think the potential and the ceiling, no. I think Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry are better. I think it's an upgrade. Not major. Not major. I love Diggs. I love Thielen. I think they're both fantastic receivers. But you can't tell me looking at these guys and you compare them one next to another, even though the production this year was off, you can't really compare apples to apples there. You got to look at it as far as a career standpoint, potential. I think I personally think that Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry are an upgrade from Diggs and Thielen. I don't think it's huge, like I said, but I do think it is an upgrade. And then you look at tight end. They had Kyle Rudolph. They also had Irv Smith Jr., who I loved. I thought that the Patriots were going to get him to replace Rob Gronkowski, but whatever. They got N'Keal Harry, who I also loved. So, but regardless, I digress. They have good tight ends. Cleveland Browns have David Njoku, a guy who was a first-round pick. Going on a couple years ago now, I can't even remember. I think 2 to 3 years ago, David Njoku, along with Jabril Peppers, were here. Now, I think that David Njoku is a very, very good player. There's a lot of people that don't like him, say he can't catch. I question his blocking. I do think we might need to go out and get another blocking tight end to fit this Kevin Stefanski offense. I think that the tight ends are comparable. They're different. They are very different with their skill set. But I do think that tight end wise, as far as ability and skill, I think David Njoku is a physical freak. And I think he's got a lot of potential that's been waited to be cracked. I don't think we've seen nearly the full potential that he has yet. So I wouldn't say it's an upgrade yet. I won't say that yet, but I will say this. They're comparable. It's a good tight end. Now, like I said, they got Irv Smith. I don't see us keeping Demetrius Harris. I think Carlson and Ricky Seals-Jones will probably be the guys, unless they decide to draft one, which to use as a blocker, you get rid of one of those guys with Carlson or Seals-Jones, and I like them both. Baker likes using tight ends. Seals-Jones has the better hands, even though Carlson, hey, he's made a couple good catches. But as far as that comparison with the tight ends, I think it's comparable. You go to quarterback. And by the way, when I was talking about the running backs, I didn't even bring up Kareem Hunt. Which, at this juncture, who knows if he's going to be on the team. Hopefully he is. You look at quarterback. All right. Now, Baker Mayfield, if you know anything about me, you know I love Baker Mayfield. I've loved him. I'm an Ohio State fan. Baker earned my respect when he came into the horseshoe, whooped us, and planted the flag. Now, I hated him that night. I wanted him nothing but the worst for him. That's just kind of the emotional person I am. But you know what? He earned my respect. And I was watching him a lot from before that, even at Texas Tech, through his Oklahoma career. But that was truly the moment that sold me on Baker, because I knew what that defense was. I believe that was a really good defense. I don't know how it compares, but the fact that he came in here and did it to us at the shoe, he earned my respect. And watching him throughout the year, especially that year, watching the Georgia-Oklahoma Rose Bowl, I knew this guy was legit. And one thing that Baker Mayfield has been best at throughout his entire career has been play action. Play action, scheme stuff where you got guys coming over the middle. You got stuff that allows him to buy time, and there's options. Freddie Kitchens this year and Todd Monken had a air raid offense with very little checkdowns, very little schemed up. It was more go and try to get him the ball. That's kind of how it went over the year. Guys like Rashard Higgins didn't play. I mean, the mystery of the 2019 Browns will be, who knows? I don't think it'll ever get figured out. But anyway, so the quarterback comparison. Kirk Cousins, to me, was never a fantastic quarterback. I thought Kirk Cousins was going to end up in Denver. He ended up in Minnesota. Minnesota loses. Oh, shoot. What's his. Gosh dang it. Give me a minute. You know who I'm talking about. You know where I'm going here. What's his name? Not Kirk Cousins. Shoot. What is his name? He's on the Redskins right now. Somebody's saying it. Somebody's watching this telling me who it is. Come on. I don't know. But anyway, when the name comes to me, I'll say it. But the guy before him, before Cousins, was bouncing around the league, came to Minnesota, and had the best success of his career. Kirk Cousins comes to Minnesota and has some of the best success of his career because of the heavy play action, schemed up type stuff that Kevin Stefanski in that offense has. Baker Mayfield, even throughout the year this year, as bad as it was, statistically was best in play action, run zone heavy offense. He had the best completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, production out of play action. This is what Kevin Stefanski did with Kirk Cousins. He's bringing that offense to Cleveland. I just went over the comparison with their personnel to the Browns' personnel. Not every position is an upgrade, but they're very similar. And actually, I know I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this, but I think Baker Mayfield is much better at a play-action offense style like Stefanski's is than Kirk Cousins. Murder me if you want. I'm just saying I've watched Baker throughout his career, and that's what he's good at. I don't know what to tell you. He doesn't fit in a certain mold. Same to Lamar Jackson. The Ravens offense is what he needs. If he was in the Browns offense, he'd be the worst quarterback in the league. I mean, certain guys fit certain styles of offense. No, it wasn't just Freddie Kitchens' offense that made Baker look terrible this year. It was also a lack of professionalism, a lack of care to work. Baker has had to earn everything. And Case Keenum, that was his name. Case Keenum, that's right. Okay, so Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins both had the best, their best points in their career have been under the Stefanski offense and that. Okay, that's what I was saying. But anyway, now I lost my train of thought with Baker. But anyway, I think where I was getting at was Baker's best in this style of offense. So take the emotional side away from this, right? Take the who is this guy? I've never heard of this guy away from it. Take that whole emotional side of things out. Kevin Stefanski's offense fits this Cleveland Browns team like a glove. Everybody talks about the Saints offense and how it would fit with Cleveland. I think it's the same thing with Stefanski. I think this offense is going to be perfect, and I think you're going to see the very best out of Baker Mayfield in this offense. I don't know if it'll be this year. It all depends on if Baker's serious. If Baker wants to work and if he wants to be a pro, he will be dedicated, and he'll do it. He'll do what needs to be done. He'll learn the playbook. He'll get everything down. And if he does those things, I think this offense is going to be insane. Odell Beckham Jr. fits in an offense like this. He's fast. He's agile. He can get up. He can catch. Landry, fantastic mostly in slot. You can use guys like Higgins. Hopefully we use Higgins, unlike Freddie. And we can put Higgins in a couple different roles. My question with Kevin Stefanski and why I didn't like the hire was, here we go again with the inexperienced first-time head coach, right? And after doing a couple research, sleeping on it, kind of soaking it all in, like that guy said, and he's much smarter than I am, clearly, he tried to explain to me that the Vikings players all say the same thing. Stefanski's been in Minnesota for 14 to 15 years, and all the players say the same thing. This guy's a leader. He's got that presence. He knows what he's doing. He's very smart. He can do it. That is my biggest concern with Kevin Stefanski. My plan for this working out would be Stefanski keeps In my opinion, to keep things as steady as possible, if he keeps Mike Prefer, keeps Steve Wilkes, keeps a lot of the assistants, like the wide receivers coach, the running backs coach, we need a new quarterbacks coach, that's for sure, and build up the minor parts of the staff, build up the line. I think you can get away with Wyatt Teller next year as your starting right guard. I think we need to draft a left tackle, hopefully with the 10th pick, and I think we need to sign a right tackle in free agency. So, in other words, basically, let's say next year the offensive line is, I don't even know. Tristan Wilfs from Iowa has been listed as potential at 10. You can go with Leatherwood from Alabama. You can look at the Georgia kid. Put him as left tackle. Then you have Joe Bitonio, CJ Trotter. I say that right? I don't even know. Somebody's mad at me because I said it wrong. I'm sorry. JT, I don't even know. Whatever. Trotter at center. Right guard would be Teller. And then at right tackle, you could have a guy, I think Balaga. I think he's going to be a free agent. You could sign a guy like that, a guy who's been in the league a lot, veteran presence, to shore up that right tackle spot. I like Chris Hubbard, I do, but he hasn't got the job done. The only position that the Browns have a lot worse athletes at, performance at, skill set at, is the line compared to Minnesota. So my perfect scenario with Kevin Stefanski and why I believe that this guy could work. If the ownership stays out of it, which they're not, that it's already come out that he's going to be involved even more. If they can let things go and let things set up and let things progress and get to where it needs to be, this offense could become something great. I think if you bring in a guy like Gary Kubiak, like he did in Minnesota, and it doesn't have to be Kubiak, but if you bring in a guy like that who's respected, who knows what he's doing, seen years of things working out, I'm hoping for Kubiak. I'm hoping Kubiak can come over and then his son could come over. You bring a guy like that with experience and to kind of keep the ship on the right course, I think this could work. Once again, I hated it before. I think when you take the emotional aspect out of it, when you look at what the players have said about him over the last 15, 14 years in Minnesota, it's all consistent. Has he done it? No. Has he proven that he can be a head coach? No. And that's why I wanted the Ron Rivera, Mike McCarthy. And I didn't really want Josh McDaniels compared to McCarthy and Rivera, but I wanted McDaniels strictly because I've seen him as a head coach. He's failed. Sometimes failure is the best teacher. He went to Belichick, which is the best head coach in the NFL. If he was smart, he would have said, hey, next time I get a head coaching opportunity, how do I not go down that same path? That's what I was hoping for, and that's why I wanted McDaniels. Some people didn't, I've always said it's risky. When I made that Dorsey gets fired rant, I can't remember if I said I don't want McDaniels or what. But I ended up wanting McDaniels based on I know what that guy is. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski is. Hardly know anything about the guy. I'm just now starting to learn about him. I don't know what Saleh is. Dayball looks like Freddie Kitchens' twin brother. Why would I want him? I mean, I don't know this stuff, okay? I know very little things about him. I know what Josh McDaniels is. I know his resume. And if he was smart and went to Bill and said, listen, I want to know what I did wrong and how to fix it, then I think it could have worked in Cleveland, and that's why I wanted him. But you know what? Taking a step back, looking at it, if Stefanski's smart and he gets some veteran, experienced coordinators and assistants in to help him, I think it could work. I do. But the problem is, prove it. I'm going to need to see it. because right now there's a big question mark over Kevin Stefanski. I want nothing but the best. I like him. I like his personality. I like guys who are like that, who are more of the quiet, come to work kind of guys. The Nick Chubb type guys. I like that. I really do. And I think this is the kind of guy that we're getting in Cleveland. How is his personality going to fit with a guy like Baker Mayfield, a guy who is very fiery, comes to work, he's a personality? How's that going to fit with guys like Odell Beckham Jr.? I hope they don't trade Odell Beckham Jr. I want Beckham on this team. We gave up, now it looks like we gave up quite a bit for him. Might as well use him, if he gets surgery, gets some more work, gets healthy, gets ready to go this time. Why wouldn't you want him? Why wouldn't you want him? Let's get this right. The Browns right now are basically doing what they did last year, except acting like Freddie Kitchens never happened. Okay? Andrew Berry is probably going to be the GM, unless it's the Vikings guy. So, who knows? I hope it works. But like I said, give the guy a chance. It's like the guy on Twitter told me today. Take a step back, sleep on it, think about it, do your research, go see what Vikings fans and players have said about him. A lot of Vikings fans hate him because he's inconsistent. There were some issues early on that you can point to and blame him for. He kind of kept that ship steady when it could have gone crazy. Okay? When Kirk Cousins had to go and apologize early on. It stayed on the right path. Now, how much of that was Kubiak? I don't know. And that's why I say I want a guy like Kubiak here. But who knows? I think either way it's going to be Mike LaFleur, I believe his name is, Matt LaFleur's what the heck? Matt LaFleur's brother, which of course is the Green Bay head coach. I believe he's on the 49ers. I'm saying he's the brother of the Green Bay head coach. So, there's a couple ways to go here. I think if you got a guy like Wade to be defensive coordinator, if you wanted to move on from Wilkes, who knows? That could work. Stefanski's got a 5-year deal. That means they are buying in with Stefanski. They're all in. So what they need to do is they need to let him go get the guys that are going to be best around him, like what they did in Minnesota with Kubiak and Kubiak's son. They need to make sure that this works, because if it doesn't work, Deep Podesta is gone. The whole front office will be blown up, and probably the majority of the roster will be too. You have to get this right. You have to get this right. Haslam needs to... I hate saying this, but he needs to trust the process. I'm giving Stefanski 2 years, two to 2.5 years minimum. If it's a Hugh Jackson situation where it's 0-16 and then it's a 1-16 and you can clearly tell it's not getting much better, fine. If it's a Freddie Kitchens situation like this year of 6-10, because of everything that you've done, I'd still say you got to give him another year. You have to. That's where you're at. And who knows? Who knows how this plays out at the end of the year? We could be talking about a new head coach coming in again, or we could be saying, hey, this guy has proved everybody wrong. Looks like we're in the right track here, finally. I'll say this to Browns fans. For years and years and years, it looked like we were never going to get a quarterback. And then Baker Mayfield was taken number 1. It was a risk. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't know. Looks like it's worked out. And unless you're a Baker hater, you're saying he's the worst thing that's ever happened. But I think it worked out. Give him a chance. Let Stefanski come in. Let him do what he needs to do and give him a chance. And this is kind of, like I said, this is coming from somebody who didn't want to give him a chance. Let it play out. That's all I'm saying. And I know this sounds like a 360 turn of what I said before. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe it's going to be the Minnesota guy who comes in as GM. Who knows? Stefanski knows how he works best. Maybe it's Andrew Barry, or whatever his name is. Barry. Let everything fall into place before we kill this guy already. Okay. So, with that being said, hopefully we're all calm now. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, let me know your thoughts. Does this make things more clear to you? Do you get where I'm coming from? Stuff like that. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Turn on the notifications and all that crap that everybody else knows how to say. See you in the next video. LSU's going to win the national championship tonight. Hopefully I was right. See you in the next video. Bye.